A week after he announced construction is continuing on Centerpoint, Dudley Webb says the project could be complete in under 2 years.
We have 19 days left in the legislative session. This is the budget session. Still no budget.
Governor Bevin finds a unique way to push lawmakers to get his budget passed.
And we're just an hour away from learning who will be the new leader of Scott County Schools. We'll show you the type of superintendent community members say they want.
This is WKYT News at 5.
The man behind Lexington's Centerpoint project that has sat unbuilt for almost 8 years says it could be finished in the next 2 years.
Today, developer Dudley Webb talked on camera for the first time since work resumed at the site last week. Webb said he's frustrated the project has faced repeated delays, but he said his company is now moving full steam ahead. WKYT Sean Moody is live for us in downtown Lexington with our top story at 5. Sean?
Hey there, Amber and Sam. Dudley Webb said this morning that he hopes the community can put Centerpoint's past behind them. He says that's what he's done, and he expects this project could finally be done less than 2 years from now. Dudley Webb doesn't have to look far to see the hole where that block of buildings once stood.
We took them down in anticipation of starting. It got held up, and I'm sorry for that.
He says a lot of things went wrong. When one part of the project was ready to go, he says something else would fall through. He also said a lot of the talk about the project made things difficult. He said he was sorry the public heard so many different things.
And also apologize for the many people who got involved in this thing, were uninformed, had no idea what they were talking about, and confused the issue.
Webb and his company have been silent since another developer came in to look at the project. They ultimately moved on, and Webb says his company is now in a position to get things moving for good.
The 2 Marriott hotels have been committed from day one. They're still there. Jeff Ruby's still there. The office building, we're back up to probably 40 to 50% pre-leased as opposed to 90 where we were when we lost the big tenants, and we're ready to go.
Last week, when Webb first announced the project was moving forward, an excavator was moving rocks there in the pit. Some people in the area questioned whether or not that was really a sign of progress. Webb expects to convince people soon. People have expressed the concern that, crews go down there and they move some rocks from one pile to another, and they say, oh, we're working, but it's not really progressing toward anything. How do you alleviate that concern that people are saying?
Well, the only thing that will alleviate those concerns is for them to see the concrete trucks there. We know that.
Now, that is something that Webb says you will see soon. He says those trucks will be down there in that pit in the next few days. He says it'll take about 8 to 10 months to get that underground garage built, and then another year after that for those 2 towers. Live in Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Sean, thank you. Webb says the project will bring 1,200 jobs as well as 700 parking spaces to downtown Lexington.
With just 19 days to go in this year's session, Governor Matt Bevin wants the Kentucky House to know he's not impressed with their progress. Today, the governor released video calling out House lawmakers for not taking action on his proposed budget. WKYT's Victor Puente talked to Kentucky's House Speaker about where the budget stands.
That video has been viewed thousands of times. In it, Governor Matt Bevin calls out Democrats in the House. He says so far they have failed to pass a budget. In a video posted to Facebook earlier today, Governor Matt Bevin took aim at the Democrats, specifically at the Speaker of the House.
Still no budget, still nothing from the House, still nothing from Greg Stumbo or anybody on the Democrat side.
He then moves on to House chambers.
What do you know? Nothing.
Bevin points out that the chamber is empty. House Speaker Greg Stumbo says there's a simple explanation.
If he'd been here Friday, he would have known that we don't go in until 4 o'clock on Mondays, and if he cared to walk across to the annex, he would have seen committee meetings going on, people working on the budget.
While the House isn't scheduled to meet in the chamber until 4, representatives were at meetings this morning at the Capitol Annex discussing items including that budget.
We've been working on it this morning. We're trying to get it together.
The budget Bevin presented in January cuts spending by $650 million. Stumbo says a big hurdle is the funding cuts to education. He says the people in his district won't support those cuts. In the video, Bevin says the cuts are necessary to keep from passing the debt on to future generations.
I'm asking our House Speaker Stumbo and everybody who's supposed to be at work in here, get to work, pass the budget. The people of Kentucky deserve better than this.
This legislative session is scheduled to end April 12th. In Frankfurt, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Also, a special election tomorrow will determine if Democrats will continue to control the state House of Representatives. After Saturday's primaries and caucuses, it's looking more like a two-man race for the GOP presidential nomination. Ted Cruz polling within 100 delegates of Donald Trump.
Yesterday, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders took part in a contentious debate ahead of tomorrow's key primary in Michigan. Mark Albert shows us today's campaign 2016 headlines.
Thank you. I need your help tomorrow.
Michigan took center stage in the presidential race a day before Tuesday's primary, with Hillary Clinton hoping to gain the upper hand against Bernie Sanders in the home of America's automakers.
When the chips were down and the vote was called, I voted for the auto bailout. He voted against it because it also helped some other groups like the banks.
But Sanders, who's trailing in Michigan polls, struck back.
The only problem with her assertion is it is categorically untrue. On December 11th, 2008, there was one vote, the only vote we had in the Senate, whether or not we support the automobile industry, and I, of course, voted yes.
Both parties vote Tuesday in Michigan and Mississippi, with Republicans also casting ballots in Hawaii and Idaho. Donald Trump and Ted Cruz hope it will be the start of a knockout blow to Marco Rubio.
Little Marco Rubio, he couldn't be elected dog catcher in Florida.
Rubio, feeling confident from his dominant win Sunday in Puerto Rico, vows he's not going anywhere.
We don't have to be more moderate to win these elections. We have to be authentically conservative.
Cruz actually won the most delegates this weekend and now trails Trump by just 81. Mark Albert for CBS News, the White House.
The latest CBS News poll shows Clinton with an 11-point lead in Michigan, while Donald Trump leads Ted Cruz. A babysitter is in jail after police say someone found the child she was caring for wandering down a street. Bobby Joe Thompson is charged with wanton endangerment. Police say someone found the little boy on Chinook Trail and called them. They tell us they had the child for about 2 hours before locating the babysitter, and the boy's parents called them.
2 to 3 year old child shouldn't be out wandering a neighborhood unsupervised. Anything could have happened to him. This is really a miracle that this case turned out the way that it did and the child wasn't harmed.
Police say they don't know how long the child was outside alone before being found. He did have his coat and shoes on.
Police made a quick arrest after a hit and run left a man in critical condition. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Laurel County. Police say that James Cromer drove off after hitting a moped on the 192 bypass. An off-duty sheriff's deputy witnessed the crash and helped identify Cromer. Police say they later tracked him down at his home.
We do suspect alcohol. At this time, we don't suspect drugs to be a factor. However, we did do a blood test just to make sure.
The victim was flown to UK hospital. Cromer is charged with assault, DUI, and leaving the scene of an accident. A text to the wrong phone number landed 2 men in jail. The Bell County Sheriff's Office says that Jerry Jones and Joseph Brooks texted a phone registered to a deputy to try and sell morphine. Deputies arranged a meeting with the pair where they arrested them. We're told they found morphine pills and the phone used to send the text in the men's car. Both of them face drug charges.
We are getting a taste of spring this week. While we'll have warmer temperatures, we'll also see the potential for showers and storms. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's here now with an early check of your forecast. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Amber. Yeah, storm chances more toward the end of the week. Between now and then, thermometers are set to absolutely take off. We're going to hit the 70s over the next few days. Little look outside. Typically this time of year, you get a big push of some warmer air. On the leading edge of that, you're going to have a fair amount of clouds. Look at all those live sky cams across the entire region, and you are indeed seeing a fair amount of clouds. Noticing a little milky sunshine showing up across the capital city of Frankfurt. Say that one a few times. Frankfurt area with temperatures that are into the low and mid 60s. 64 right now. Lexington with a mostly cloudy sky. Winds are coming at us from the south. That's a mild flow that is going to really kick into high gear over the next few days. So a lot of low 60s showing up across the entire area now, with a run at the mid-60s a little earlier. Defender radar network, even with the clouds, not producing precipitation, really not anticipating much. Tonight's temperatures going to be hard-pressed to drop below 50. We'll be into the low 50s right on through 11 o'clock this evening. Spring fever alert. It is breaking out right now. Temperatures over the next few days will hit the 70s. Then we track the potential for some late-week thunderstorms. Hour-by-hour forecast just minutes away.
Chris, we'll see you then. Thank you. In about an hour, Scott County Schools will name its new superintendent.
There's a special school board meeting at 6 o'clock to announce the new leader. Our Mark Barber shows us the type of school superintendent some people want to see take over.
While parents and graduates want the new superintendent to have all the qualities of a leader, some say they don't just want the superintendent to care about their students' academic success, they also want them to really focus on helping students who are bullied.
I have 2 cousins in school who get bullied just about every single day. And then I also had a friend in middle school who took his life because of bullying.
Courtney Devers graduated from Scott County High last year. She thinks too many teachers and administrators are failing to protect students from bullies.
And sometimes some teachers do something about it, some don't. They say they will and it never happens. I think if a student comes forward about bullying, then it needs to seriously be taken action.
The Scott County School Board has been searching for a new superintendent since they decided they would not renew Superintendent Patricia Putty's contract a year ago. Now, their long search for a new leader is over. During tonight's special board meeting, the board plans to name the new superintendent. Devers hopes the school system's top official will make their top priority protecting their students.
Create that bond and that trust, and let them know that you're actually going to take action.
Members of the school board plan to have the new superintendent on the job in time for next school year. In Scott County, Mark Barber, WKYT.
And Putty plans to retire when her contract ends in June. One UK fan missed last year's SEC tournament because of a life-threatening situation. We'll show you how a coworker helped save his life a little later.
A new surgery could help restore one woman's ability to have children. She talks about undergoing a uterus transplant and better living.
Human trafficking.
I was property.
A serious subject being brought to the classroom.
There was things that weren't being discussed in public schools, and our kids were paying a price.
How a local group is teaching the dangers of this high-risk life. Tonight at 6 on WKYT.
Backed by Washington's super PACs, Philip Pratt is waging a campaign of distortion and lies. So false, Pratt's super PAC had to stop airing its dishonest ads. Chuck Tackett, farmer, Frankfurt outsider, and servant leader, Chuck Tackett will stand up to the career politicians, take on political insiders, and fight for us. On Tuesday, reject Philip Pratt and his Washington super PAC's campaign of lies. Vote Chuck Tackett, farmer, Frankfurt outsider.
I wasn't too thrilled about dentures, but I need to be able to chew. So I called Aspen Dental. They got me right in because my visit was long overdue. And no one on staff even made me feel bad that I hadn't been in since the leg warmer fad. My new dentures came with a great guarantee, so this giant pretzel's got nothing on me.
With dentures starting at $3.99 and a money-back guarantee, dentistry's never been easier. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL.
That's the sound of Sirius XM, controlled by the largest touchscreen in its class. This is the sound of someone blowing past the last gas station for over 500 miles. That's the sound of 4 usually rowdy kids enjoying their favorite movie. And together, these are the sounds of a well-executed automotive symphony. Returning FCA U.S. lessees can finance and get $6,500 total cash allowance on the purchase of the 2016 Chrysler Town & Country.
You're probably wondering, with all the meat that Arby's has, do they have ocean meat? Well, wonder no longer. Arby's has more wild-caught Alaskan pollock fillets than you could ever imagine, especially if you're only imagining one fillet. Eat 2 crispy fish fillet sandwiches or flatbreads for $5. Arby's, we have the meat.
After you're injured at work, a lot of times the insurance company will attempt to call you, take statements. Don't speak to them until you speak with an experienced workers' compensation attorney.
The insurance company will attempt to settle your case for pennies on the dollar. Before you talk to the insurance company, call us first.
Our job is to make sure you get all the money you deserve.
Call Morgan, Collins, and Yeast. 1-800-55-WILDCAT.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you, like WKYT on Facebook. Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
It is a mild start to the week that gets even milder and, dare I say, warm. All right, I just said it. Warm for this time of year coming up over the next few days. Let's jump into it and show you the beautiful numbers that are showing up across central and eastern Kentucky. Everybody hitting the low and mid-60s this afternoon. Current warm spots, 65 Frankfort, 67 Monticello, and points to the west. Got a couple of upper 50s there. You did hit the 60s a little earlier today, though. Defender radar network, a shower or two in the clouds. Most of that is not getting down to the ground where we live. Air is a little too dry from that. Boy, we're going to moisten up that atmosphere, though, as the week goes on. And middle and end of the week, it may actually feel a little muggy. Humidity levels are going to come into play before the week is over. A lot of clouds across the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley. Those are mainly thin upper-level clouds that are showing up to our west and southwest. We'll get in on some of those end of the day tomorrow when temperatures make a run for the low 70s, if not at close to 75 degrees in some areas that have more sun than clouds. No matter how you slice it, tomorrow is an absolutely gorgeous day. Only drawback will be some winds. Area of low pressure across Texas in the upper levels. Big area of high pressure across the eastern seaboard. We're sandwiched in between those two. That means a big-time warm-up. You can trace this supply of juice that is coming into the Ohio Valley, Mississippi Valley from the Gulf of Mexico and across Mexico to the Pacific Ocean. So there's a definite tropical connection. That means for areas, this is through Wednesday, areas to our west, that's a lot of heavy rain that will be falling for the Mississippi Valley. That's going to slowly work its way toward the east second half of the week and into the coming weekend. Hour by hour forecast. Look at the beautiful numbers tonight. Only upper 40s to low 50s. End of the day tomorrow. Noontime. Mid and upper 60s showing up already. We're going to hit the 70s tomorrow afternoon. 70 to 75 across the entire area. Great looking Tuesday evening. That Wednesday forecast looking to be in pretty good shape as well, though we'll have to see how close a little band of some showers and storms can get to parts of north central Kentucky into the early morning hours. By the afternoon, look at the temperatures. A lot of mid 70s that will show up into that Wednesday afternoon. Now we're talking 7-day forecast. We'll be back into the mid-70s again on Thursday, and that'll be the best chance for at least a scattered shower thunderstorm that will carry us into Friday. Chances will really ramp up once we get into the weekend, but even then, showers and storms won't cool us down that much, guys. We'll have to settle for the 60s. Poor us.
Gee, settle for the 60s? I just don't know.
And if you're heading down to Nashville for the SEC tournament this weekend, 6 o'clock, we've got your forecast for you.
A lot of people will be watching for that. Chris, thank you.
You bet.
We'll take an overall look at Lexington traffic flow to start off with this afternoon, and Leestown Road looks okay. Just had a look at that earlier problem we had on the circle at Leestown, but it looks like it's cleared. Zoom in there and take a look at an earlier crash we had, Tate's Creek. That's one's going to be near Wilson Downing. It looks like the collision is now cleared, but still part of it, well, they're showing part of it actually blocked now still. As far as drive times go, 14 minutes to Nicholasville. Georgetown's about 17. Paris is 21. Winchester will take about 25 minutes. Now back to you in the studio.
With the SEC tournament set to begin soon, coming up we'll tell you why one UK fan, he's thankful he's even alive this year to watch it.
Changes might be on the way for a well-known festival in Berea, why the mayor says organizers should stop vendors of a controversial symbol. Ahead on WKYT News at 5:30.
Get weather plus traffic with a WKYT weather app. Have the Defender radar network in the palm of your hand while checking your driving conditions for your commute on the same screen. Weather plus traffic on the WKYT weather app.
With a variety of fresh-made seafood meals starting at just $4.99, no one does seafood like Dee's. Try our new home-style flounder meal, or double dozen shrimp, or our grilled menu featuring new Tuscan tilapia, each with 2 sides and hush puppies. For full meals starting at $4.99, it's gotta be Dee's.
Our city is like one big machine with thousands of moving parts. Lextrend keeps more of those parts moving than most of us realize. Moving thousands of people a day to and from places of education or employment or enjoyment. Days and nights, rain or shine, weekdays and weekends, Sundays and holidays. So whether you ride the bus or not, you can count on the fact that many of the people you count on Lextrend.
19 pool tables and a full bar. Only at Silver Q on New Circle Road.
In 1934, Steak and Shake decided the world didn't need another hamburger. They needed a steak burger. So they used 100% beef. Quick sear to seal in the flavor you'll only get from a steak burger. Steak and Shake, home of the original steak burger.
Philip Pratt, a proud grandfather, a loving and caring family man.
a hard-working small business owner, someone who knows how to grow jobs and change the landscape in Frankfurt. Philip Pratt will hold government accountable responsibly, fight Obama's crippling government overreach on our agriculture economy, and preserve our Kentucky heritage in Owen and Scott County. On Tuesday, March 8th, vote Philip Pratt for state representative.
Hi, I'm Brian, and I buy houses in the Lexington area. Selling a house can be stressful, but not anymore. If you need to sell your house, let's talk. We'll have an honest conversation about your home and your options. I'm not a realtor. I can buy your house as is, and we'll close professionally with a Lexington attorney. No closing costs, no commissions, not one red cent out of your pocket. You can get all cash, immediate debt relief, and peace of mind. Call someone you can trust, 859-278-HELP, or go to 278help.com.
Save money at Lexington Diagnostic Center. It's your choice.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you. WKYT.
With a variety of fresh-made seafood meals starting at just $4.99, no one does seafood like D's. Try our new homestyle flounder meal, or double dozen shrimp, or our grilled menu featuring new Tuscan tilapia, each with 2 sides and hush puppies. For full meals starting at $4.99, it's gotta be D's.
I've covered thousands of games over decades. You think you can beat me?
Challenge Dave Baker and play the big Southeast Hoops Hysteria Tournament Pick'em game for your chance to win a 43-inch LG TV. Sign up today on WKYT.com. Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
A die-hard UK fan ended up missing last year's SEC tournament because of a life-threatening situation. Just hours before the tournament began, Tim Hayden suffered a massive heart attack.
Doctors say he's still here to see this year's games, all because of what his coworkers did to save his life. WKYT's Mike Linden has a story that's new at 5.
I hope I never hear that 911 call, because we were pleading with him to stay with us.
March 13th was just another normal day at Southern Wine and Spirits in Lexington. With the SEC tournament set to begin that day, UK fan Tim Hayden only had one thing on his mind.
I was really looking forward to watching the basketball games and just figured the meeting would go along that day.
Tim never made it home to watch the game.
All of a sudden, I hear this loud snoring noise.
Doctors say Tim was having a massive heart attack, a widowmaker.
Doctors say had Tim's coworkers not acted quickly, that he would have died. They say in just a few short minutes, they took the AED out of its cabinet, took the pads out of the back, attached them to Tim, and turned it on.
Call for help.
It did the shock. It said continue CPR. We did. He took a breath. I said, Aaron, he's coming around.
The next thing I remember was waking up in the hospital. They were taking me off the ventilator and having no idea where I was, how I got there, where anybody else was.
It turns out Tim missed a little more than just the SEC tournament.
The doctors were the ones that said, no, you had a heart attack and, you've been here for 2 weeks, and no recollection.
Tim's doctors say if he wasn't at the meeting that day, around people to help him, he wouldn't be around to watch this year's tournament.
Hopefully UK will win. I'll be more than happy to come for a meeting on Friday and just deal with it from there.
In Lexington, Mike Linden, WKYT.
And Tim says while he's still a huge UK fan, he says he no longer looks at missing games as a life and death situation. A report of a stolen purse leads police to a more disturbing discovery. The conditions deputies say they found children living in. On WKYT News here at 5:30.
You might want to check your pantry. We have information on a food recall. Plus, the first U.S. woman to receive a uterus transplant is talking about her surgery. The story's next in Better Living.
I'm WKYT's Rebecca Smith, and I stand for Kentucky.
These creamery shakes are so rich and creamy.
Finally a shake for an aficionado like myself.
You're a shake aficionado?
Not a shake aficionado, the shake aficionado.
Handcrafted, slow-churned creamery shakes are here. This is how you Sonic.
Change is taking root in Frankfurt. We need a voice that'll be heard. Daniel Elliott is the conservative for Boyle and Casey counties. Dedicated to protect our God-given freedoms from Obama liberals, Daniel will ensure government is held accountable and our Kentucky values are protected. Daniel Elliott will fight government overreach that's crippled our economy. We need a strong voice. On Tuesday, March 8th, vote Daniel Elliott for state representative.
Building the only trucks with the best torque, best payload, best towing, and best horsepower takes guts. Icing out the competition, that's the glory. Get a great deal during Ram Truck Month. Returning FCA US lessees finance and get $11,000 in total values on the purchase of a 2016 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab.
There's a Kentucky Farm Bureau insurance agent in every county in Kentucky. Someone who's always there for you in times of need. And most other times, too. Kentucky Farm Bureau. Big on commitment.
The AOP has had its eye on her for quite some time. We were just waiting for the right moment to move in. The vibe was anything but playful. Go. Okay. We knew we had to move in fast, but there was a crowd, so we had to play it cool. This is where the years of training paid off. We got the scratch-off ticket to her in the nick of time.
We're agents to play, man.
People think this job is all fun and games, but we take our fun seriously. That's what being an agent of play is all about.
Thank you.
Just doing our job.
Put a little play in your day with scratch-offs from the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education.
Hi, I need a safe car.
The Camry's really safe. 10 airbags, even has a backup camera.
Wow, that could come in handy.
Bye. Dad!
Gotta keep my little girl safe.
Don't worry, he'll only be like this for another 10 or 15 years.
At least.
It's Toyota's One for Everyone sales event with 0 for 60 financing plus $500 bonus cash on Camry, or $1,500 customer cash, or a $179 a month lease.
Here you go.
Toyota, let's go places.
This Ultimate Chicken Club really has it all.
Totally, right?
Kind of reminds me of when I had it all. High-powered job, sports car, had to walk away from it all.
I've known you since middle school. When did all this happen?
4th grade.
With all white meat chicken on a brioche bun, the Ultimate Chicken Club has it all. This is how you Sonic.
It is time now for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. A recall alert today for something you might have in your pantry. Go-Go Squeeze is recalling some applesauce pouches because they don't meet quality standards. The recall applies to non-organic Go-Go Squeeze applesauce pouches with a best buy date between December 4th of 2015 and March 4th of 2017. They also have a 5-digit production code beginning with the letters US and followed by 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, or 08. You can contact the company directly for replacement pouches. The recipient of the nation's first uterus transplant is talking about her surgery. The 26-year-old underwent the transplant last month at Cleveland Clinic. As Weijia Zhang shows us, the woman hopes the surgery will give her a chance to become pregnant and give birth.
When Lindsay was a teenager, doctors told her she would not be able to have children.
From that moment on, I've prayed that God would allow me the opportunity to experience pregnancy. And here we are today at the beginning of that journey.
Lindsay, who didn't give her last name, was born without a uterus. Now she's the first patient in the U.S. to receive a uterus transplant.
It involves removing a healthy uterus from a deceased healthy woman of reproductive age. The uterus is then cooled, transported, and implanted in the recipient.
The groundbreaking 9-hour surgery was performed last month at the Cleveland Clinic.
The hospital has screened more than 250 women to find 10 who qualify for the research study.
Women really crave that experience of carrying their own pregnancies, and we know that those women will get that experience through uterus transplantation.
Lindsay will have to wait a year before trying to get pregnant through in vitro fertilization. Doctors say after 1 or 2 pregnancies, they will remove the uterus so Lindsay is not on rejection drugs the rest of her life. Lindsay took a moment to thank her donor's family.
They have provided me with a gift that I will never be able to repay.
Lindsay and her husband are already parents to 3 adopted sons. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Cleveland, Ohio.
What an incredible procedure. Sweden pioneered uterus transplants with 9 transplants that resulted in 5 successful births so far. If Lindsay is able to have a successful pregnancy, doctors would deliver her baby by C-section around 37 weeks. Now, here's what's coming up for you at 5:30.